What's up, everybody? Welcome back to None Other Top 10 show. Today we are dealing with 4 crazy lunatics who are going to try to discuss the top 10 most underrated actors. Obviously, this is very subjective, so it could go fast. However, we could have some recurring actors' names coming up.
We could have some people who disagree.
Correct. So here's a rundown of how we're going to do this. We each went our separate ways and made our own top 10 most underrated actors list. What we're going to do is highlight our 5 through 1. Now, if we have a character, an actor that pops up within a couple of the lists, we will have whoever has the character highest towards number 1 keep that actor. Everyone else will have to change with their 6 or their 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. Hoping that all of you are aware of the show and how it works. So, without further ado, I'll get it started off if you guys don't mind.
Should we announce who we are?
Oh, dude. Yes, definitely.
Good.
Scott Icebox Nemi coming at you. To my right,
Trace Couch Patchin.
And after that pronunciation, Blake Sarno out of the greater Appleton area.
nice.
Yeah.
And I am, of course, Taylor Ruffalo Wheeler.
Taylor Ruffalo Wheeler.
Or as I call him, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. My number 5, top 5, well, underrated actors. I'm going with Paul Dano. Anybody else have him?
Not on the list.
But I did highly consider him after seeing Swiss Army Man.
Really?
I consider him after
I wanna see that
seeing, remembering his performance in Love and Mercy. So.
Oh, okay.
I highly considered him after watching the There Will Be Blood.
Yes.
Really good in that film.
Well, take it another way, Scott.
Well, it'll be short and sweet because I think Paul Dano's an up-and-comer. I think we'll end up seeing him in more prominent roles. But as of right now, he's sort of the second in command, obviously, especially in There Will Be Blood, following, a stellar performance from the one and only. Anyways.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes, Daniel Day-Lewis. I wasn't going to name the name, so then people would be like, what the hell is he talking about? Actually, I just froze. I didn't remember the name.
It's like my life, dude.
You think too much about it and it just goes away. But in 12 Years a Slave, he plays a small role and gives this just chilling performance that you can't get out of your head. But obviously he's coming up with more roles, as you said, in Swiss Army Man. So I'm hoping to see him more. But if you haven't seen his films, go check him out. He's really unique.
What I would like to add is, Paul Dano, like you said, he's kind of always side character, supporting character and stuff, but every performance he gives, it's fantastic. It's like even jumping back all the way to Little Miss Sunshine even. He didn't even have any dialogue in that movie for the most part, and I thought he just, killed the small role that he's in. And then seeing him in like a movie as the lead actor in Swiss Army Man, and it's like, why hasn't this happened yet? You know what I mean? This kid is just... He's got a bright future for sure.
Yeah, and something that impressed me is just the range of acting that he has. And in Love and Mercy, doing his own singing for Brian Wilson, the Beach Boy, because he was playing the younger Beach Boy, and he did his own singing for that. And I was actually really impressed because he sounded near perfect. But it's just his range is so impressive.
Yeah.
I think he really does have a franticness to his performance. He always feels very unhinged, very wiry, like in Looper. The entire time, the guy's basically out of his mind, trying to get away from, getting murdered by the group he works for. And like I said, the whole time, you just get the sense like, oh my God, help this person. He needs help,
Definitely.
That range you're speaking of, even when you look at him in Prisoners, where he's, sort of that mentally unstable, quiet character that's, wrongly accused of... Or maybe he is accused, or maybe he is the culprit to the crimes that happen in Prisoners. So, just he really plays this wide variety of crazy and unique characters, which I'm hoping to see more of. I forgot to mention we'll go 5 4s each, 3 2s, and then we'll do our 1s. So that was Paul Dano at 5. My number 4 is actually Christina Ricci.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm throwing some love around to the the actresses as well, because I think Christina Ricci, I don't feel like she has a whole lot of range, but every time I think about her, you can think about movies, especially from my childhood, being a 90s kid. Casper is amazing, which is $5 on Blu-ray, which is insane.
That's great.
It's so awesome. But then the film Now and Then, I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It's basically like Stand By Me, but with girls.
Oh yeah, when the young and
Yeah.
they do the
Yeah, I mean, and then she goes on to play some out there characters. I think she's in Monster.
Yep.
With Charlize Theron.
Performance.
Yeah, and then you have her in Black Snake Moan
I was
with.
just gonna mention that movie.
Yeah, but it's not even just those. It's those sort of smaller films, kind of like Paul Dano does, where you got to search him out and find him. But you won't be disappointed when you see her in a role. Like I said, I can kind of see her playing more of herself, that Christina Ricci voice and everything like that. Like she can't shake that, but. Not everybody can be Daniel Day-Lewis. I remembered his name this time.
Hey, there you go.
But go ahead.
It's interesting, yeah, because I mean, I don't have. I'm just saying, I don't have any females on my list. Not intentional. I just didn't think of any. But I mean, it really is true. She's got the nostalgia on her, like you said, because of all the movies we grew up. But like, she does have acting chops. As in Monster, like that's the first movie that comes to mind with her, and actually her acting range. Yeah. It just sucks because we haven't seen a whole lot of her in recent years. So
yeah, but I mean, even Now and Then is a classic. I think, you know, the way Stand By Me is or was for me and my guy friends, I could sit down and watch Now and Then with, you know, female cousins or my sister and just enjoy it. Almost just the same, that adventure, the adventurous nature of summer and, you know, going on bike rides and all that stuff. So I think she really does stick out. Except for the only thing, the preposterous casting that they had in Now and Then. They took Christina Ricci as a young girl and made her Rosie O'Donnell.
As an adult.
As an adult. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Like the weirdest.
Love you, Rosie, but I'm sorry. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
If we were making a list of top 10 crushes growing up, Christina Ricci would be number one, hands down.
And her 5 head.
Cool.
Yeah, all right. Those are my 5 and 4. Which way are we going?
I can go.
Okay,
right.
go next.
My number 5 is Mr. Sam Rockwell.
On the list, but down there, I knew someone would have him.
Yeah.
It's just he does so well in every movie, but his movies aren't always the greatest to come out. Like that Poltergeist movie that came out, that remake it felt like kind of a waste of his talent, because you watch stuff like Choke. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Choke. Very well done. He's a sex addict in there. But he does so well. And of course, the one that I'm sure all of us know about him is Moon, which is...
He's it's one lead role, and it's just one of those movies that's always on everybody's perennial top 10 underrated films. Kevin Spacey, by the way.
It's so impressive because he essentially holds Moon on his own, because it is him on his own aside from Kevin Spacey's happy voice, which sounds like his normal voice. But he has a good range of being able to go ridiculously serious but still keep like a lighthearted nature to him. But he does every role so well. That's why he's in mine.
Well, I mean, even going back earlier in his career, like in The Green Mile and whatnot. I mean, he can even pull out some nasty performances too. You know. Yeah. Moon alone. I mean, if we could judge just off of one performance alone, Moon would make him on my list. He was my number 6, anyways. So. Sam Rockwell should be in more movies.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah, fantastic in that movie. Oh, he's great. I mean, he's a great guy.
I enjoyed his co-starring role in Seven Psychopaths as well. He was very funny in that movie.
Well, there's also a film that I don't think I'd usually expect to see Sam Rockwell in, is one with Anna Kendrick, where they're like boyfriend girlfriend.
That Mr. Right movie that came out.
Yeah, but he kills people or something like that, and it's. I just saw it.
Looks interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something that would be for him, but yet there he is doing it. And I'm sure he's, if he knocked Poltergeist out of the park with which a heap of crap that was, I'm sure he did okay in Mr. Right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Taylor.
And then for my number 4 is a guy who gets forgotten about a lot because he's usually a side character. I don't know if he has a main really a main role out there, unless it's kind of a lower movie, is Ben Foster.
Higher.
Higher. What's your 6?
My number 6 would be Michael Pena.
Higher.
Trace.
Not me. Yeah.
So...
Jeez.
You got a list of 10, buddy, for a reason.
Trace. Wow.
I knew we were going to have similar stupid actors on our list.
God, I hate you. I'm going to go with this guy then, my number 7.
This guy.
Which is Stephen Lang.
Good.
Good?
No, yeah,
Good?
not mine.
Okay. Stephen Lang, older guy. A lot of people don't really recognize him all that often. Probably his most predominant role is being the Sergeant General in Avatar.
Yep.
Just what he does, his voice, everything that he has to him, he's really overlooked a lot, and right now he's kind of, I forget the words, he's trying to be Cable for the next X-Men movie, or Deadpool movie, yeah, petitioning, but he's such a good actor, and he's only gotten better with age. His roles in, like, Public Enemies and Men Who Stare at Goats, even though even though it's like a small role, he does so well. Yeah, sure. He's always been memorable. It just, he doesn't get recognized for how good he can actually be, and he just, everything, like I said, Avatar is probably the biggest moment that he's had, but you see him in a movie, you may not notice him, but he's one of those guys that stands out with his character because he puts everything he has into his character every time.
Definitely, I can't agree more. My first introduction to him, at least knowingly, was Avatar, but I just remember him, and I don't know if I should say like it's that stereotypical military guy, but like he just brings it up another level, and it makes the film and the plot go along a little bit more entertainingly. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would disagree with me, but you can all go to hell.
Yeah.
Avatar should have won Best Picture over that overrated fucking...
Was it The Artist that year?
No.
Was it King's Speech?
No.
Oh, what was it?
It was The Hurt Locker.
Oh, yeah. I know
I
know you're butthurt about that one.
Yeah, you know what, dude?
Avatar.
But I mean, Stephen Lang, though, you say Avatar was your first thing for him, but you probably just missed him in Tombstone.
Don't tell me. Just keep going. I'll think about it, because I love Tombstone.
Yeah, he was in there, but yeah, he's really good in performing.
He's not the coward guy.
He is Ike Clanton.
Yes, that's who it is. Yep. Oh, yeah. I was definitely... Yeah, and Ike really pissed me off in that movie, too. So he did his job.
Ike really pissed me off.
But yeah, he's just very good, and I'm actually excited because he's got a movie coming out this year called Don't Breathe, from the people who remade Evil Dead, which if you check out the last film that Taylor Ruffalo Wheeler was on, you can listen to me talk about Evil Dead.
And Damon just stuttering his way through that one.
Oh, fighting.
But Don't Breathe looks amazing.
Yeah, cool. All right, Blake.
Alrighty. So I'm going to start off my countdown with a lovely female.
There we go.
Rosario Dawson.
All right. Good thoughts.
So I don't know if I'd call her a B-movie actor, but she's certainly not considered a lot. I'm really excited to see her in her reoccurring role on the Netflix Marvel Universe as Claire. I think she does have a good presence, but where I really kind of fell in love with this actress was in like mid-2000 stuff when she was in Sin City, and I love Sin City, and she is such a cool, definitive character in there as kind of like the leader of the prostitute legion, and she's quite excellent in that movie. And then I'm going to put myself like a target on my back here, but the movie Rent, the musical, she is excellent in that movie, and she does display some really good vocal talents, and she just has a presence when she's on the screen. Part of it is her beauty, and she's very pretty, and the other part of it is she's just kind of got like this smooth, sultry tone to her voice, and not in a lot of great movies, but when she does pop up in one here and there, I really enjoy seeing her.
Well, she's one of those people that's just extremely likable too, and I think to those of us that have actually looked into her and stuff, and not in a creepy way, not in a creepy way, she's actually like very similar to a normal person or people like us because she's nerdy. She loves comics and stuff like that.
Sure.
She petitions to be like voices because she's done like the Artemis voice. She's done Wonder Woman's voice. She's gonna in the new Lego Batman movie. She's gonna be Barbara Gordon. But the moment that I fall in love with her, and she actually made it on a list because you reminded me of her, is 7 pounds.
Oh,
yeah.
7 pounds. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
That was the one that I loved her in. So
I gotta
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
okay,
no,
I'm good. I gotta steal a line from Kevin Smith on this one. When he's talking about how great of an actress she is, and he says something around the lines of, "You have to be a good act. You are a good actor when you can make Brian O'Halloran believable that you're dating each other in Clerks 2." So yeah, that's good. I mean, the fact that we actually, I mean, if you've seen that movie, that it actually works.
Right.
It makes sense, and it attributes to her acting for sure.
But the fact that she can work with directors on that same line almost, that she can work with Kevin Smith and then one of the greatest of our time also work with Quentin Tarantino as well in Death Proof. So she's got a good span, and I think she's definitely rising stock for a lot of people who haven't known her but now are seeing her on Netflix in that awesome series, Daredevil.
Sure.
Alrighty, my number 4. Please don't steal him from me, Trace.
Oh no,
Bill Hader.
You're good, dude.
Yes.
No, I actually want to talk. We talked about this.
Yeah, I did. So I was thinking about him. I've been watching the series on I'm watching a series on Netflix called Documentary Now. Bill Hader's a guy that is pretty much always put into that like SNL alumni cast stuff where he'll pop up in movies for like 10 seconds, like in Popstar, which is a movie. He did it for about 15 seconds. He's an idiot. You know, that's his normal role. But
Pineapple Express.
Yep,
Yeah.
idiot. But when he pops up in more serious roles like the Skeleton Twins, and then on this Documentary Now series, you kind of get to see that this guy can do these kind of like idiot, bum, low life roles really well. That's what he does. It's his bread and butter. But you give him some chance to flap his wings and do a little acting. He's excellent. And he really has a ton of range. And he's very believable. And actually, the movie Trainwreck, which wasn't a train wreck, he was good in that movie as well. He's just very enjoyable to watch. And he would be one of those people that, like, I feel like if you met him on the street, he would totally, shake your hand and give you a high five or something.
I think, like, with more, like, I mean, going down the line in his career, if he gets more opportunities like in Skeleton Twins to actually, get different characters in this than the characters he's typically cast for, that he could become a character actor, like, in the veins of Gary Oldman or stuff, like even that, because like in Documentary Now, it's a comedy show, right? But they commit to the characters in the documents. I don't know if you guys watched it yet. You should.
I've been watching part.
But it just like the commitment that he puts into the characters for just something like that. It's astounding, and it really is like it would be really exciting to see him to jump into more stuff.
Yeah, he's a guy that can play a role, and you might never see his face, or he could be unrecognizable, but just like a Gary Oldman, we would still give an excellent performance, and he's okay with that type of role. He likes to be hidden in the film.
Well, like he's Fear in Inside Out, which I thought Fear was my favorite without even knowing that it was actually Bill Hader.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see a lot of these comedian characters that put in good, strong, dramatic roles, such as like a Robin Williams, and Sarah Silverman, and now Bill Hader doing it as well. But I think he's cool because he has the same T-shirt as I do from the Criterion Collection, a House T-shirt. So yeah, he's awesome. He's on my radar now since I've seen that.
Yeah, right. He's really good. I enjoyed Adventureland. I liked his role in that one. He was just fun as that guy, but...
Yeah, which, I mean, I didn't really like them. Adventureland was underwhelming, but I did like his role.
Yeah, I liked Hader in there a lot.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite part of that film. And next to my favorite part of Trainwreck.
All right, I'm jumping up. I'm going to keep the talking about the Netflix series Daredevil rolling here with my pick, John Bernthal.
Oh, thank God. Because I forgot about him.
Fire? You piece of garbage.
He's just saying that. He's just saying
Yeah,
that.
right. Then I'll have to jump down to my 7, which I think is just a shame. I was looking into making sure he doesn't have any Oscar wins, because that's one of the criteria I put on myself for making this list. And I'm going to do John Goodman.
Higher.
Really? Fucking garbage. This is just fine. All right. That's fine. I wanted to talk
I
about
never
my
expected this to happen.
I wanted to talk about my number 8 anyways. Again, somebody I'm surprised has never won an Oscar. Paul Giamatti.
Giamatti's
Okay,
good.
good.
I mean, going from movies like Sideways to movies like Cinderella Man, which he was nominated for, but he didn't win.
And Planet of the Apes.
And well, yeah, I guess if you want to mention
He's
that.
hilarious in Planet
yeah,
of the
that's
Apes.
true. But I mean, he's one of
Ragtag
those actors that he can do multiple roles, like all the way from going to do just this cameo appearance in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 as a thug to making a performance, giving a performance where I think he got robbed in Straight Outta Compton. It's just a very, very good character actor. And John Adams, I've heard just wonderful things. Never watched the show, but I've just heard amazing things of his performance in the show. So
And is that Turn?
Yeah.
Is that the show? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good.
But yeah, like Paul Giamatti is an amazing actor. I forgot about him apparently. But like I like that he can flip between like a high like level movie along the lines of like super high budget and everything, and then go to something like John Dies at the End, which is a very small movie, which is really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully nobody takes any more of my picks, because I feel like Taylor now. But my next one, my 4, is going to be Cillian Murphy.
Nope, I cut him from my list.
Didn't have him.
Cillian is one of those characters. I mean, we first met him or saw him. Met him. We know him. We started hanging out and getting beers with Cillian Murphy.
Right now,
In 28 Days Later, 2001, and he just stole the show on that one for me. And then, I mean, just to keep reiterating these roles like Sunshine. I thought he just did fantastic in that one.
Even something like Red Eye.
Red Eye is an
Red Eye,
excellent
yeah,
movie.
where you see a different side of him. I mean, he's acting as a villain in that one. And then you throw him into the Batman trilogy, which is, I mean, his character as the Scarecrow is just perfect, and Jonathan Crane. It's just perfect. He actually tried petitioning multiple times to be Batman, and Nolan liked him so much that he's like, you can't be Batman, but you can be the Scarecrow in all of the movies because I like you a lot. And I want to just shout out to Peaky Blinders. If you guys haven't started watching that one, it is amazing. It's a little hard to follow because their Irish accents are so strong, so subtitles it.
Always.
Always. But it's fascinating, and it's disappointing to see that he's just always taking a back seat in movies. So I'd like to see him chime out more front-running roles. So.
Cillian Murphy, he also reminds me of, I finally on a podcast get to talk about Cold Mountain, and he's actually in there as a soldier that's trying to get some food, but he plays a very timid role. He's in there for maybe 2 minutes, but he is just... He's outstanding.
He's just the scenes.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have to be in there long. Look, take Inception.
Oh yeah,
Like,
he wasn't in Inception a whole lot. Even Tron Legacy, he was in for like 2 seconds.
The
and I
very
was like,
beginning and gone.
I want him in there more. Where is he?
Oh, dude,
But
Joe just brought that back to me. I'm like, man, he is in that movie for like 2 seconds. So underrated.
I know.
Inception for me is really hard to for some reason I have to watch that movie like 40 times to remember everything that happens because it's
There's
so
shit
damn
going
confusing.
on. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
So that's my 4.
Yeah, and I will say one last thing. He probably was about the best part of In the Heart of the Sea.
See, and I didn't even finish the movie entirely, but I was like, man,
Because it was
Cillian
garbage
Murphy
or
is,
what?
I don't know. I
It's
think it was just
not-
kind of like a slow
It's an
pace.
okay movie.
Yeah, it
It's
was
just
alright.
slow paced.
I was so excited for that too.
I
I
know,
had
Ron
that
Howard.
I had that movie pass and then they took it out of like April and sent it to like December and I was like, you son of a bitch.
One last thing.
Sure.
Completely wasted in this movie, but In Time.
Oh man, I can't believe I forgot about that. Like that movie was like going okay for me until they destroyed his character in that movie. Like
Yeah.
that, like he was the only character in that movie, like the character itself, and then his performance behind it was the only character I cared about really in the movie. And then they just they just kill him out of nowhere. Like they make him like this. They try making him a bad guy, but he's not. Like the character's
Just
oh
doing
man,
his
I could go
job,
on
man.
rants for that movie
And
for
then
a while.
he just like, for a guy who does the job of like taking out people with time,
Right.
he just forgets that he's running out.
Yeah.
of time.
Oh, for sure. Just a stupid little like.
But Killian's great. And
Yeah. So that's my
movie's
4.
bad.
No why.
So, my number 3 is going to be an actress. I think the movie that you guys would possibly know her from is Aquamarine. Her name is Sarah Paxton.
Yeah, I know.
She is in a lot of low-budget films. Like, one of my favorites is Ty West's The Innkeepers. And she plays such a great role in that film. A very sweet, loving character. Sort of just this, curiosity to her, curiosity nature. But I also saw her in a film called Enter Nowhere, which has a great, strong premise for a low-budget film. I think Scott Eastwood is in it, and the lady in one of the, Final Destinations, she gets killed by the hooks in the elevator. Or no, maybe not. Maybe, I don't remember. There's so many of those damn films. But she's, all of those people are in this Enter Nowhere, which is, like I said, it's an insane premise. But she has some decent range to her, and I honestly, I just want to see more of her, because I think her biggest movie was probably like that Nickelodeon Aquamarine, because I think Emma Roberts was in there.
Yeah, Last House on the Left, the remake in 2009.
That's the movie I actually know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it's
think
the biggest one.
Yeah,
See, I actually know her from The Innkeepers.
the Innkeepers, dude, is so good, man. I love that. I love that guy that's in it too. I'm a dick for not knowing his name, but like the other guy that was working with her, oh man, that movie is awesome, and nobody knows about it.
Yeah, because I had to go and check it out because you said The Innkeepers. I'm like, is that the one I'm thinking of? And I looked and it's like, oh yeah, it is. The dude I believe you're talking about is Pat Healy or Luke from the film.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, dude, it's this movie.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie, low budget horror, but they don't do anything with super great effects that brings it down. Like the story, the premise is there, and the way those two feed off each other. Sarah Paxton and this what is his name, Henry?
Pat Healy.
Healy, yeah. They do a really good job. So I really enjoy her. I'd like to see her in a lot more stuff.
Here's she gonna be in the remake of Twin Peaks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not bad.
So yeah, hopefully she's keeps rising stock, because I want to see her in a lot more stuff. Okay, so that means number 2 I have Ben Foster.
Higher.
Gah! So going down to it, I'm gonna do it, and you guys can hate me if you want to, but I'm going Shia LaBeouf.
All right, let's hear it.
I love the guy. I mean, he's not in enough stuff, I think, because of his mental nature. But but ever since from Even Stevens to Holes.
Holes was cool.
Holes is great. And then Disturbia. And you can say what you want about the first Transformers film, but I think he is a character in that film that I actually enjoyed, and I really liked the way him and what the hell's her name, Megan Fox worked off each other. And I honestly, if that was like a summer love movie, I think I'd like it more than having Transformers in the damn movie. But I really enjoyed him in that. And then Fury, he did an awesome job in Fury.
One of my favorite underrated films.
Yeah, Fury, he did an awesome job in that movie. And then there's another one coming out, an A24 movie, I think, coming out.
American Honey?
Yeah, American Honey, which I'm really interested in seeing, because if anybody, well, if you're listening on YouTube, you've probably seen his Just Do It take, his inspirational chant. But he's got like this rat tail thing going on, and I think he has that rat tail in the movie.
He does.
So I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. I'm fucking going.
I even liked that Eagle Eye movie he was in, like 2008.
Eagle Eye was okay. Yeah. I mean, he was all right. I remember watching it, but Shia LaBeouf is really honestly one of those guys that I go back to. Like, I like Disturbia. I mean, it's kind of similar to like the Burbs or something. Right. But for some reason, those neighborhood thrillers just. I love them, man. I eat them up. So
I think
Disturbia is
nod to Hitchcock too for you.
Yeah,
right.
Disturbia is one of those films that totally got glossed over, and it isn't really bad, but nobody ever talks about it, and it just kind of sits on shelves. It's really good.
Also, Lawless. He was.
Really Lawless. Yep. Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Personality aside, I think Luff is a really good actor.
Are we considering him the Kanye of movies?
Oh, come on. Don't ruin my pick here.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's not that bad.
Okay.
No, I really enjoyed his performance in Fury for what I've seen recently. Like, it was just so well done. And aside from the fact that he ripped out his own teeth to do that role...
Holy shit, he did?
Yeah, he actually ripped out his own teeth to do that whole
He's
thing.
Crazy and dedicated.
Yes. Did you hear about him renting out a movie theater and just watching his
All
own
of his
movies?
movies.
Yeah. I was like, dude, are you like get this guy on the podcast, man? Like, Shia, if you're listening, which I know you are, just do it. Make your dreams come true. Come on our podcast. We're only in Wisconsin, man.
Just the craziest thing is all 41 of our subscribers are just celebrities.
Yeah.
Like we're just some well-known secret.
and they're all pissed that they're not on our list. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my... Well, he would jump to my, what? 2 now, yeah. So, yes! I just made my dreams come
You're
true.
welcome,
Taylor,
buddy.
up to you, man.
Alright, so my number 3, which Trace had back a little bit, is John Barenthal.
All right.
Nobody higher, right?
No, he is on the list, though.
Great. I think he's kind of coming into his own now.
Right.
Because he hit a groove and he's hitting a lot of stuff. But even before that, he had a ton of like small cameo roles. I think it was Date Night. He had a tiny one like in the very beginning where he's this one little guy. But I think most recently, aside from the Daredevil, where I love him as Punisher, and that's a bit of bias on my part because Punisher is my favorite Marvel character ever. But Me, Earl, and Dying Girl, I loved him in there as the teacher. He was great. He did such a good job in there as that guy, and just kind of like being the cool but like kind of smart guy that he was in there. Beyond that, going back to Fury, he did a great job in Fury as well. It's just every movie he hits on, he's doing a good job in there, even though he may not have the biggest role ever. He does so well. Like Sicario, he had all of 5 minutes in that movie, but he was so good as that kind of asshole-ish guy in there. I mean, he does try and essentially kill Emily Blunt, but spoiler.
She deserved it.
Nobody kills Emily Blunt.
But no, he does such a good job every time, and like I said, Miro and Dying Girl is probably taking Daredevil out of the situation is probably my favorite role from him in very recent times.
And it's just like, I mean, pretty much with all this list, it's just exciting to see where he's going because he is on the rise for sure. But I think just, I mean, with what he's given us from The Walking Dead to, even small bits in like Wolf of Wall Street and stuff like that. Even Snitch, it wasn't a great movie overall, but his performance in the movie was definitely a highlight, I would say, because he had a bigger, chunkier role than he normally does.
Well, he's got a fairly large range that he can go for.
Yeah, he does get typecasted a bit as you can see similarities between Shane on Walking Dead and the Punisher a little bit.
The brute.
The grittiness. But still, yeah, Me, Earl, and Dying Girl shows that he does have range and he does have the ability to get out of that typecast. So, cool. Good pick.
I just want to, that moment in, spoiler if you haven't seen the Marvel Daredevil on Netflix, pause for a second, but when they get to that point where, have you guys all seen it? Are you all caught up? Okay.
Well, I know, I probably know what you're going to say, so don't worry about it.
When Daredevil bails him out of that situation where I think like the Russians have him or something, and then they go to the cemetery and John Bernthal tells about his past. That is like a gut-wrenching scene.
It's amazing.
Well, yeah, for me, as a Punisher fan, he felt like the Punisher, because he's not just to many people, he's like a mindless, kill everybody kind of guy. That's what the Punisher usually is. But he brought the humanity to the Punisher that the Punisher should have, because he's a human guy. He's lost a family and everything, and he brought the intimidation that the Punisher has, but he brought the like emotion behind it too, and you can see where he's coming from, and you feel sorry for him, and you almost feel like he's right in killing thousands of people, even though it's probably not the best route to go.
For sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Respect the research.
Number 2, Taylor?
My number 2
so I can steal it.
is the ultimate chameleon, Gary Oldman.
Ah, okay.
A man who has been around forever. He's done a ton of movies, but he's only ever gotten recognized for Oscars once. And he got nominated for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, but he's never been looked at for the Oscars or anything beyond that. But he's always done amazing things. One of the favorite things, which you introduced me to this one, is from The Professional, Leon the Professional, and his role as Stansfield. He does so good as that crazy villain role, but then he goes on to do other various roles like Commissioner Gordon and stuff like that. So he's got such a range, and he's a chameleon, so you don't notice him in everything.
He's one of those actors like Christian Bale that you totally forget is British. Like, I think Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is one of the only movies I remember him actually using his British accent.
Oh yeah, he almost never has that. And for the guy, even in small roles that he's had, I watched the bad Paranoia movie that came out a couple of years ago with Liam Hemsworth, the lesser brother. But it had Harrison Ford and it had Gary Oldman, and if they had made that movie about those two purely, it would have been amazing. But the way they played off of each other and Gary Oldman standing next to him, it just felt so epic in a way, especially to me. But he does so well. He puts everything into these tiny roles that he has, and probably his most recognizable thing is probably Sirius Black for most people, is going to be Harry Potter. Aside from Commissioner Gordon's 2 big roles, I'm not sure which one would have a bigger following, but I feel like Sirius is the bigger thing that you get him in. But
for sure, the two big roles, Gary Oldman wise, like as speaking as a chameleon actor, that come to mind right away are True Romance,
Fifth Element.
No, not Fifth Element. Hannibal.
Hannibal, yeah.
He is playing literally a deformed character. You do not know it's Gary Oldman until you look in the credits and find out. And it's insane. It is insane.
Well, yeah, he's always just so crazy, because you look at him as from Fifth Element as Zorg, and he looks so different compared to looking at him in Hannibal, or looking at him even going to Lost in Space after that.
True.
He's all over the place. He's always changing, just everywhere around, and even in bad movies like the new RoboCop, which is sort of bad, kind of passable. He does a really good job in there. He had that pretty good role in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes recently as well.
Even going all the way back to like some of his first roles, like Sid and Nancy. Not a great movie in my opinion, but his performance in it was just stellar for sure. And that's one of his first movies.
And he is, I'm going to say it, and I'm probably going to get a little bit of backlash for this, he is my favorite Dracula of all time. I thought he played that role epically. I thought he was amazing.
Most iconic roles is Dracula. I won't fault you for that one.
Did you say Leon the Professional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he...
Yeah, he's good in that too.
Oh, for sure. Great pick. I didn't even put him on my list because I knew you were just a Gary Oldman dude.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you could probably...
Was that your 2?
My number 1 at this point. Yeah, that was my 2.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, we'll get my number 3 pick, right? So I'm going to go with Vera Farmiga, or Farmiga, however you want to say her name.
Really?
Yeah. So she has 1 Oscar nom to her name. I wouldn't say her body of work is extensive. I think she's got around 50 credits to her name. A lot of small roles, but when I look at like literally some of my favorite movies, which I featured in my top 50, Up in the Air, The Departed, those are 2 roles that she really stands out in for me. And then I actually really enjoy her in the Conjuring series as well. I don't know, she always kind of gets passed off as like this mom character, and I guess that's okay. But I don't know, she just, once again has a presence when she's on film. She's very quiet. She's not like an over-the-top actor, but I think she delivers her lines with a lot of conviction, and I enjoy her. And particularly in her Oscar-nominated performance in Up in the Air, she is one of like the most gut-wrenching characters in the world, because you kind of get a sense for how she is going through the film and, you know, what kind of person she is. And at the end of the movie, they turn you on your head and you find out that she's just been lying this whole time, and it's just a gut punch. Sure. And I'm like, what? You played that off like it was nothing. And I really enjoy her.
First time I saw her in a movie was Running Scared with Paul Walker. That was
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was a pretty under the radar movie. I really did like her performance in that one too, for sure.
She's just one of those people that, you know, never really like center of the stage, but always good. And
hence the list, right?
Hence the list.
She's good in Bates Motel as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes, I totally do enjoy her in that.
Damon doesn't, but calls her whiny.
I haven't started that one yet.
Yeah, I wanna start that one too. All right, 2.
Alrighty, and for my second to last pick, a bit of a hesitance on my end of things because he is very, very popular right now, but I think that Michael B. Jordan is still considered underrated. I felt he was snubbed royally for his role in Creed. I enjoyed, out of everything I saw last year, his performance in Creed was my single individual favorite character of any character last year, like, period. I love him in that movie. Once again, though, he's younger-ish, so his body of work isn't huge. I think Fruitvale Station is probably one of the only other big roles he's had, but once again, very, very good in that film as well. You know, I feel like Fantastic Four could have been a good jump-off point for him if it didn't crash and burn so miserably, but he's also been part of some other films that I really like Chronicle. He had a you know, kind of a co-starring role in that, and I think that underrated as of now, but I think 1 or 2 more good hits, and he'll probably be an A-lister if he isn't already. And so Michael B. Jordan's my second pick. I just highly enjoy everything he does.
Yeah, he's a very good actor, and when the initial backlash came out about turning Johnny Storm black, I was like, just hold on, Michael B. Jordan's a really good actor, give him the benefit of the doubt. And then the entire movie was crap. But
and then it didn't matter.
Yeah. But, I mean, Fruitvale Station was great. Even stuff like that awkward moment that he was in. I know Damon disagrees with me on this one. I really liked Michael B. Jordan in there. I thought he was funny. But he has that range of being able to do dramatic to funny and kind of be able to flip back and forth between the two and walk that line. So
I think they wrote the character of Adonis Creed so well. Not saying I'm not taking anything away from Michael B. Jordan, because I actually really enjoyed him in the movie as well. But they wrote him so well because it's not that he's going to go through this transition of he's not going to accept who he is. He calls Rocky uncle from like the moment he meets him, which I thought was so good, because then you don't get this cliched, oh, he hates the white guy who was best buddies with his old man and all that garbage. He accepts the fact that his dad's actual wife took him in. Like, he's just such an accepting person, and I don't know, I just really like that throughout the movie. Just on a side note, I guess. But yeah, Michael B. Jordan's great. Fruitvale Station, still nobody, I don't think, really knows that movie,
which is strange considering all the things going on with the constant media blitz on.
I mean, I had to buy that movie, I think, on like DVD because I couldn't find a Blu-ray copy for it. So
fantastic movie, it really is. And yeah, Michael B. Jordan, I mean, honestly, out of all the people on those lists, he's probably the one his stock is rising the most right now, even after Fantastic Four. I mean, he's set to star in the Black Panther movie too, directed by Creed director and Fruitvale Station director Ryan Coogler.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he is a fantastic actor. I would love to see more from him. But he's young, so he's got way more. He's got way more coming. Wait, did you rob me of the John Goodman? You never yet talked about him. Oh wait, we have one more.
Wow, spoiler!
Sorry.
Wow.
I thought that was number one.
We already know you're number one. So.
Yeah, I think you do. So we can cut that out for you. He's got to edit it anyways.
No, not this.
Well, I just ruined his number one for everyone.
That's all right. I ruined your number one earlier.
Okay.
They forget.
Sorry.
It's just background
I thought that was your number one for some reason. Okay, here we go. Because both of these were pushed off by me. You probably know how this is going, but you don't know how it's falling. Number 2, Michael Pena.
Number 3?
Number 3, Michael Pena. What?
He pulled a Damon. He's got his order all scattered.
Yeah, no, it's right. I just skipped him. Number 3, Mark Ruffalo.
Oh!
There we go. Okay, Ruffalo, I mean, yeah, he's also kind of got his stock on the rise right now, but, like, just going through everything he's done, it's insane that this guy's only been nominated, twice for an Oscar?
Wisconsin guy.
He's a Wisconsin guy, and, at first, like, I loved Spotlight a lot, but I didn't think, like, any of the performances really stood out to me, on first viewing, and then Taylor gave me, I mean, because he loves Ruffalo so much, he's like, but you gotta watch, I mean, Mark Ruffalo killed it in that movie.
He did.
He killed it, and I watched it again, and I'm like, whew, you're right.
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, going off a side note here,
Sure.
did Spotlight really deserve...
I loved Spotlight. I don't know, I thought...
Dude, Ruffalo was
Just
definitely the guy for me the first time, and then it's like, I mean, as like, sort of like this thriller almost, it was alright, but like, I was like, dude, it didn't blow me away at all.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the writing was great. I thought the directing was pretty, straightforward, really. But the cast was, I mean, it's hard to top that cast.
Yeah.
And the subject matter, too, was very, very well executed as a film, I thought. I mean, it's something I like debating about and talking about religion as a whole. But, I mean, just saying this movie did really good justice to a serious topic. That is a wayside note. Mark Ruffalo is great.
Yeah.
That's my number 3. Anybody else want to say anything?
He's a show stealer, like in Zodiac and stuff like
yeah.
that. And people who've watched The Real Friend of Mine know my feelings about Bruce Banner.
For sure. I agree.
Him being the better one, Damon, you suck.
Oh, we're just attacking this guy. Good thing he doesn't listen to it.
But I mean, even in a movie like Foxcatcher, he was amazing.
Just the way he would move. And I watched the Team Foxcatcher documentary on Netflix, which was outstanding. I mean, I watched Foxcatcher, the film, before the documentary. I think, actually, obviously, because it was just recent. But the way that the actual guy would move in real life compared to how Ruffalo moved, it's just insane. It's an insane... the way this guy acts is awesome. So
well, yeah, I mean, it's just amazing that somebody like, I don't know, it just really shows you that acting is an art form. It is a talent. It is something. That none of us could do what these guys do. So
yeah, Ruffalo goes in there and he truly encompasses every bit of the person that he's playing.
For sure. So that's my number 2, and then number 3. Jesus Christ,
God,
where am I?
Race.
I thought for the longest time I thought he was on his 1, and I'm like, well, I didn't do my 2, and I totally didn't look at Mark Ruffalo. Well, if you haven't guessed yet, my number 2 is Michael Pena.
Really shocker.
Yeah.
Oh
Did
my
anybody
God.
see that coming?
Didn't see it coming.
I pick Michael Pena this high because as I scroll through his IMDb page right now, I think of all these movies that I've seen of him. I'm like, wow, that's right. He's awesome in that movie. He's awesome in this movie. And it's like, if we're talking about somebody who's good at range and switching from a dramatic role in, 2014 Fury, and then the next year stealing the show in the Ant-Man movie in a comedic fashion, you know what I mean? That's just like... It's really good acting, and I stand by the reason I like the movie Crash is predominantly based on his performance alone in that movie.
100% agree. He's the most gut-wrenching part of that movie. The scene in particular where his daughter, you think, has just been murdered.
And he's just giving that scream, and it's just like, man, you feel it with him. And then we went off on in previous podcasts about Fury and how great that cast is. Most of them are in this list.
Right.
Anyways, and then we went on End of Watch in our Jake Gyllenhaal episode, and how great he is in that movie too. This guy he's stuck in supporting roles, but I think given the opportunity in the right role, he's deserving of Oscars. That's how good of his acting.
Another underrated film, Shooter.
Oh, Shooter. Oh, okay. I was like,
Bob
haven't heard of that one.
Bobby Schwager.
That movie,
Shooter, yeah.
It wasn't my.
Nobody, for some reason, the film Shooter is stuck in limbo somehow because it's like nobody reviewed it, nobody watched it. Honestly, I'm like,
but yet
Roger Ebert never reviewed it. I was like, what the hell's going on? And I love Shooter. It's hilarious. It's so out there. It's so
and yet it warrants its own TV series now too.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's got its own series.
That'll be canceled after one season.
Oh, for sure. But Michael Pena's my number 2 for that reason. So, number 1 now.
My number 1 is you guys talk about chameleons, and this guy is a chameleon actor in his own right, based on the way he acts. Any guesses?
I have literally no clue. Based on the way he acts, okay.
The way he's portrayed in films as well, as not actually being himself, but he really is himself. You don't.
Can I guess? Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, my number 1. This guy, the fact that this guy has not won, an Oscar award is truly, it's terrible because the way he puts himself out there as Smeagol / Gollum, as Caesar, how he's taken sort of that motion action acting to a new level, but yet he can come back in films like 13 Going on 30 and play a sort of egotistical boss, or be a cook in King Kong, Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah.
His roles vary, but I think this guy is seriously a tremendous actor. When you think about it, if you listen to our podcast on top 10 Lord of the Rings characters, you'll hear how high we had Smeagol / Gollum, and just the way this guy acted, falling through ice cold water to try to catch a fish, or the way he's walking on all fours to become, a chimp and stuff like that is just, it's absolutely amazing. He's creating his own sort of style, if you will.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. This guy literally came in and invented a new way of acting, essentially. I mean, mocap was there before he was, but still, he took it and ran with it and saying, this is not going to limit my acting ability, this is going to make my acting thrive, and it has it. This guy is people go to him now for mocap because of how well he can capture his performances in it, and it's actually a shame that I forgot him on my list. It really is.
Jeez.
He is a stellar actor, and I don't think he gets enough credit. I mean, the one that comes to mind, other than Golem, is Caesar in the
right.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes reboot series, and it's I could watch the opening scene of the interactions in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I could watch a whole movie based on just that alone, and it's.
But he's Captain Haddock in your Tintin film.
Tintin, yep.
Yeah, and I think he's your go-to guy when you need the motion capture. So he's got 94 credits as an actor. But when you think about it, you have these huge, giant roles for this guy that he is
screen.
yeah, exactly, and it's funny, but it's really cool. So yeah, Andy Serkis definitely my number 1.
Cool. Taylor.
Clapping?
Yeah, just a small little fist clap there.
So my number 1 most underrated actor is obviously Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah,
I knew it. I flipping knew it.
Steal.
That guy flops like crazy.
No, in seriousness, my number 1 most underrated actor is a guy that you guys have probably seen before but may not have noticed him, is Michael Shannon.
Oh yeah,
A guy that I love personally. He's amazing in every role that he does. From his General Zod in Batman Superman, or sorry, not Batman Superman, Man of Steel.
Yep.
I mean, he was still General Zod in Batman Superman, but it was just not a decent role.
Not a lively one.
But he just gives in such great performances every time, and even with the cameos that he throws out every now and then, a lot of the times, like, she's funny that way. He was a policeman at Macy's, and he still was hilarious in that role. Something I've seen recently from him that he was really, really funny, and probably the best part of the movie was The Night Before, where he was Mr. Green. And he was just amazing as Mr. Green. Like, I loved him every time he was on screen. But he goes from being, like, that funny cameo role to stuff like 99 Homes. If you guys have seen that one.
Yeah, that is. He's excellent in that movie.
Yeah, he's so good, and he plays so well with Andrew Garfield, and he can play with anybody. Like, he's very good at coming into a place with any actor and walking in there and being like, I can play off of you perfectly.
Yeah.
And just being able to do that with everything, and probably the biggest thing he's had, aside from General Zod, is the Boardwalk Empire show that he's been on. But beyond that, probably my favorite thing, well, some of my favorite things are like The Iceman, where he was playing Richard Kuklinski.
Yeah.
Does an amazing job as Kuklinski and all that, and kind of humanizes him a bit more than what Kuklinski was. But and even going with Take Shelter, which I don't know if any.
You mentioned Take Shelter. It's one of those movies I actually originally saw on a watch this movie because nobody ever did list. And well, it's excellent.
Yeah, jumping on that, I mean, the director of Take Shelter, Jeff Nichols, did Midnight Special with him recently, and I just watched that one. It's really good. And talking about going off of other actors, him and Joel Edgerton in that movie killed it. Like, it's fantastic. It was a really fun movie. Close Encounters-esque, almost.
Jeff Nichols as well did Mud, which I believe he's in.
Yeah,
right?
Shannon is in there too. Nichols apparently just like Shannon a lot.
He does, because he's had some other independent films that it was just him and Shannon.
I think one of my favorite roles, and one of the things that I actually talked with Michael Shannon a bit about with the 2 minutes I had at a Comic-Con the one year, was...
you have to pay for those 2 minutes?
Yeah. Well, I got his autograph and stuff, so... but his role in The Runaways...
that's an underrated. Yeah, dude, that movie's really underrated.
Yeah, he was the manager, Kim Falvey, and I talked to him a little bit about it. He actually really loved playing him because he was such an eccentric character. But it's just, he does such a good job in there. It's an underrated movie. Like, a lot of his stuff is like Take Shelter and like Midnight Special was under the radar.
Yeah, for sure.
But he just does so well in there. He's all over the place with being able to go funny to dramatic to like superhero movies and everything like that. He can do it all, and like I said, he plays off of everybody perfectly, so you can't. He's just so good in every right.
One of honestly my favorite roles of his is in Titanic 2 or Revolutionary Road, where he plays this dude that's just Kathy Bates' son that just got out of like a psych ward or something. And there's literally 2 dinner scenes that this guy is in, and he just cracks the hell out of me. And you were saying how he plays off other characters, how he plays off Kathy Bates, who's like, he's not right in the head, and then Leo DiCaprio, who can't stand him any longer, so he just has an outburst. It's hilarious. It keeps me going back to that movie time and again. But I mean, I like Revolutionary Road anyways, but that is seriously like my favorite role of his.
He got Oscar nom for that, I think, too.
The Revolutionary Road one?
I'm pretty confident he did.
Well, you better look that.
I'm gonna fact check for you.
You better look that shite up.
Best. I'm gonna fact check. Mokul. Yeah, that's how you spell it.
Even in crappy movies like Bug. Shannon's amazing.
Yeah, dude, he's definitely in that. Yeah.
Yes.
Nominee 2009. I told you he was good. I told you he was good.
But on to Blakey Poos.
Here you go.
Zorro.
Which by powers of deduction, everybody will figure out that John Goodman is
Since Trey spoiled it.
So he's got, I think, like 60 plus nominations, no Oscar noms.
Yeah. It's insane.
One Golden Globe win for probably his most well-known role as Dan on Roseanne. That's not why he's on my list today. He's on my list because he has had a very good career as he's gotten older. Almost always a bit part player. There's a poster on the wall behind us of The Big Lebowski, who he is immensely funny in that movie, like to the point of just crying because the line, his character of Walter is just stupidly funny, and he's so good. Like, who else could play that role that funny? Nobody.
No
I don't
one.
know.
Literally no one.
And he's also got, he does really good voice work too. He's got a very distinctive voice. So seeing him or hearing him in Monsters, Inc., which is probably like one of the top 5. You could argue is one of the best animated pictures of all time. He's just everywhere. He's got credits everywhere, and he's been in a lot of not seen stuff. We're talking like straight to DVD, voiceover work, one episode of this, one episode of that. So he just pops up everywhere and is just massively underrated. And I think like the last 7 or 8 years, seeing him, I believe, was he in Argo?
Yeah,
he was.
So
Argo, fuck yourself.
Yeah, Argo, fuck yourself. He is such a good part of that film, and there's so many times that Monuments Men was another like so-so film, but he pops up on it. He's funny. He's always there, and I think part of that, he's just this larger-than-life character. How do you cast him as the lead? And so he goes to a side character, because how much of John Goodman can you handle? But the movie that absolutely made him go up to number 1 on my list was 10 Cloverfield Lane. Seeing that movie, I was just blown away, because I don't ever remember. John Goodman is basically like the living embodiment of like Blue. He's just this happy.
Damn right, dude. Yeah.
He's just this happy-go-lucky, kind of guy. The guy that should be playing Sully for Monsters Inc. And he turns into like this. Who is he in 10 Cloverfield Lane? Yeah. He's like a psychotic, broken man, and he's so good. And just seeing him. And then putting it all together with his dramatic and his comedic and his voiceover chops, just underrated. He should have a lot more attention for the amount of stuff he's done.
Yeah, beautifully said.
100%. And I think 10 Cloverfield Lane to me wasn't a big stretch for him, because I think you and I have both seen stuff like Death Sentence.
Yeah, for sure.
Where he plays a villain role. And he does a really good job.
Is that the one with Garrett Hedlund?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kevin Bacon, yep.
Yeah, that movie is kind of out there.
It is.
Yeah, even seeing him in The Gambler, which wasn't a really good movie overall, but he does a great job, and he's just, when he's on screen, even with Wahlberg there, he's taking every bit of that screen, and you're just seeing John Goodman. Mark Wahlberg doesn't even matter at that point because of how good Goodman is at playing that role.
I mean, like Blake said, Big Lebowski's his Walter in that movie is probably one of my favorite movie characters of all time. And he's just so memorable, and
he's like that uncle,
Yeah,
when you get together with a family gathering, and there he is, John Goodman, Johnny, come on,
Johnny, man. Come on. But he's a stellar actor, and he definitely goes under the radar because.
Oh, I remember another dramatic role for him, but Fallen. That was the one I couldn't think
of.
Yeah,
that's right.
But if you look through his acting credits, he's got voiceovers in video games and all sorts of stuff, and he does have a very distinct voice. And side note, I love The Emperor's New Groove, who he voices Pacha.
Yeah.
And he's funny. He's great. I would love to meet him. He feels like an uncle from Wisconsin.
That's right, yeah.
Just go up and hug him.
Yeah.
Blake, get me a brat and a beer.
All right, I'm up. I bet you can't guess who it is. Number 1 is going to be Ben Foster.
All right.
I picked Ben Foster because, just, again, looking at everything he's done, I think that, until he hit his stride in, like, Alpha Dog kind of getting more of a prominent role and stuff like that, he is the best actor in 75% of his movies. And that's something to say because he's in movies like 3:10 to Yuma with 2 Oscar winners in it. And he, in my opinion, shines over those 2 completely. And then you go to movies like The Messenger, fantastic.
Messengers is good.
It is. Even Lone Survivor, I think he was the best part of that movie, and he wasn't even in the whole movie. So, like, this guy is, he definitely deserves more. He works really well in ensemble casts. But I think given the opportunity, he can do way better on his own. Just the drama he brings to his performances. And he could be even, funny. He can do things where you don't even recognize him, even going all the way back to the 2005 Punisher film. I don't remember. I very.
Oh, no, I remember. Yeah.
He had all the piercings and everything and stuff. He's just like, out of anybody on these lists that I picked, he's the one that I want to go back and watch all of his movies because I'm like a Ben Foster fan. Like, really enjoy his stuff.
Charlie Prince to me was like this guy. Before everyone creamed over Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Yep.
I think for me, like, to be actually like blown away by a role was him in that movie. Like, I wanted to see so much more of him and his
310?
character. Yeah, it was just
absolutely.
the way he portrayed that guy was like insane. It was great.
I always come back to kind of like one of the opening sequences of 3:10 to Yuma, which is one of my favorite movies. And they're talking about how the horses got stolen. He's got that delivery. Well, why didn't you go get the horse? He's like, they had guns and they were shooting. And it cracks me up every time.
Yeah.
It's such a stupid little line, but the way he says it and that whole scene where he's kind of like pulling one over on the townspeople, trying to get them to come out to the country. I don't know. He's just so good.
But I mean, I think, in that film as well, the way they costumed him too.
That coat.
Yeah, that coat where you got like the one unbutton going, the hat, and everything. I think he created a great character in that film. And then The Messengers is another movie that I absolutely love him in because he's got sort of this, a little bit of a depressing side to him. So, and then Woody Harrelson plays off him so well. So
and that's Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just gonna say, like, he was kind of a weird role for him, but in probably one of my favorite vampire movies, 30 Days of Night, as the stranger that just kind of walks in.
He is an out. Yeah, when he's in the jail cell and stuff. Yeah.
Like,
he's a weird dude.
He does a really good job of kind of being this creepy little bastard, more or less. But
and he could be a creepy little bastard, and I know the movie hasn't gotten the best reviews, but he can play, Lance Armstrong in the program. So, like, he's versatile, and I think he deserves more than what he's getting because he's definitely, and he's been acting for a while. He's not that old, but he's been acting for a long time. So definitely want to see more from him. That's my one.
Let's rank this stuff.
Oh, jeez, this is gonna be the challenge right here.
How do you guys want to do this? You think maybe we want to start with the number ones, rank the number ones, and then go on who we have as a collective group?
Yeah.
Rank number ones.
That'd be the easiest.
So you had Foster, which he was my number 2.
Yeah.
You had Goodman, which was on your list.
He was my number 7.
Was Goodman on yours?
No.
He was not on mine either.
Foster was on mine at number 4.
So, I think we have
a
clear cut.
Have Foster.
So 3 out of the 4 have Ben Foster. Let's lock him in at number 1. So now we're looking at Goodman, Serkis, and
Michael Shannon.
What are you guys thinking?
The only one technically I have on my list is John Goodman. I knew Taylor would have Michael Shannon high on his list, so didn't put him on. And
I didn't even think about him.
I totally forgot about Serkis.
So Goodman and
I'm in Trace's boat on Serkis.
Yeah, I really think it's
so let's
underrated.
do John Goodman.
I think it should be followed by Andy though.
And then we're saying Shannon versus Serkis. So
you can do Serkis next, just because they agree that he would be on their list.
Because I was actually upset when you mentioned him as your top 1 because he's just one of those guys.
I completely forgot about a dude in 3:10 to Yuma who's around everywhere.
Oh.
As a small guy, I completely forgot about him.
Alan?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant? I'm just kidding.
I thought you meant Alec Turkey.
No, that's another
He's a
one.
good one too.
Yeah.
So are there any other names that we had as a collective group? I think that's the best route we're going to take.
I stole a lot of people's stuff. Michael Pena was on other people's lists.
Pena was my number 6.
I could agree with
Was
you.
Oldman on anybody's list?
Oldman wasn't, only because I knew he was going to be on yours. So,
you just left all the guys off
and
you knew were my
people
top.
originally,
God.
so
Bernthal was on both of ours.
That's true.
I left Oldman off my list because even though he doesn't have any Oscar wins,
I
feel like he's still a hot ticket actor. Like if you put him on your movie card, you'll get people to see it. He's a guy you'd want to put on the title.
I did have Bernthal on my list as well. That's 3 out of the 4.
That's it.
I could agree with him just because
Bernthal was your 2, right?
Bernthal was my 3. Oldman was my 2.
I think Pena should be on there though.
Pena, Michael Pena at 6. Are we all cool with that?
I'm cool with that. And now I'm content.
Yeah, there you got all your fucking guys.
A lot of
on
my
there.
people are on there. So
do we share any other ones?
I want to just throw out some
Did anyone have Dano at all?
I really heavily debated, but I only could have 10, so he would have been like my level 11 or 12.
I skimped on the younger actors just because there's more to come from them, in my opinion. So
that's kind of my thing with Michael B. Jordan.
Who had Rockwell?
I did.
I did
as well.
So I'm in there.
Is anybody opposed? What about you? Were on my side with Bill Hader.
Oh, I'm on. Yeah,
Definitely. We'll throw Bill Hader at 8. Then we're looking at 2 more spots.
Did anybody have any actresses you'd like to add to the
Well, I
list?
mean, Rosario was late on my list. She's on there.
Rosario Dawson. I had Christina Ricci. No one else had. I had Sarah Paxton. No one else had.
I had
Joan Allen was also there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had Vera. Then I had Kristen Wiig, and then I had Saoirse Ronan, and then my last pick was no, Dawson was in there too. So
Rosario Dawson it is.
Sweet. I got a woman on the list. And
so what do we have? How many we have left?
One more left.
One more spot?
We have one more spot left.
Well, I have Mark Ruffalo and Cillian Murphy, I think.
Oh boy, we forgot about Murphy and Ruffalo.
Well,
but the thing is
I still have Oldman.
Underrated, but Ruffalo has to be underrated to a certain extent. Sure. Like, he was nominated. Up until the ending of the name Mark Rylance, we thought he won an Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, that was insane. They were like, Mark Rylance, not Ruffalo.
That is fair. That is funny.
I mean, if we take nominations off the list, who's that leave?
I got Cillian.
Cillian's off. Well, I left him off the list.
I mean, I have... What are you looking at for yours? What do you have left, Blake?
If you have Hader on there and Goodman, those would be the 2 guys that I would have wanted on there the most.
Okay.
The only other guy on my list is the back end of my list, which is Tim Roth, but he was like number 10.
Okay.
So
yeah, he's a good one though. Shia LaBeouf is there. Sarah Paxton, which
Yeah, I had Stephen Lang thrown in.
True.
It's true. Paul Dano I had at 5.
I would list Paul Dano just because he's one of those people that I kind of remembered on the way here. So.
What
are we going with here?
What's our choices? We have one spot left.
Cillian Murphy, Paul Dano, and Stephen Lang.
I can understand Stephen Lang being dropped off. I would be happy with Cillian or Dano.
That's what it's down to then. We got to flip?
We're going to flip or let him choose?
I guess we can let you choose. Yeah, you choose. Well, that's going to be Dano because he just said he put him in one.
Damn right.
I would have put then Red Eye with Murphy. Then what do you do?
Yeah, that movie had a guy from Survivor on it.
Now, see, the thing with Paul Dano is Murphy is already he's got to be mid-30s.
Probably close to 40s.
Murphy has a larger body of work, should be more recognized. I think next 3 or 4 years, Paul Dano is probably, if he continues on this path, is probably not going to be an underrated actor.
But the thing about it is that he's already been in such prominent roles and still has, what's his main casting in that movie with the Beach Boys that nobody went to see. You know what I mean? Like, he's still getting...
That's true.
I mean, bottom of the barrel...
Nobody's going to see Swiss Army Man because it's an indie film.
People are going to see this movie because it's ridiculous.
I want to see it.
It was ridiculous.
I really don't. I don't want to leave Murphy or Dano off of it just because I like.
Well, we got to pick then. We got to do it. We'll just flip the old coin here.
Old-fashioned way, Scott. Here we go.
So Trace, what do you want? Heads or tails?
I'll take heads.
All right, I'm gonna flip, catch, and then flip again.
Oh, okay.
You want heads?
You're being interesting. Yeah.
We're not ready for this.
Yeah.
I
take heads still.
I'm sorry. I mean, like, once I catch it, then I'm gonna flip it.
Okay.
I thought you were going to
flip.
We can do it like that. You want to do it like that? Let's do double flip.
Hey, man, if you could catch it and do it.
All right, here we go.
One more. Excellent.
What'd you say?
Heads.
He said heads for Paul Dano, baby. Yes.
You piece of garbage.
Come on. And you know what's funny? I just noticed this while I was double flipping the coin. Your boy Stephen Lang's on my wall up there. You can see him, second body in to the left.
Yeah,
there he is. So maybe we should have put him on a 10. Very honorable mention, I will say.
So underrated, he flies under the radar of the pictures in your room.
Hey, we never threw our bottom honorable mentions. Just a quick shout out.
All right, do it. Shout him out.
All right, I had Viggo Mortensen, Stanley Tucci, and Giovanni Ribisi.
Very good.
I figured you were gonna have Giovanni somewhere.
I had Robin Wright Penn, Joan Allen, Robert Forster.
Nice.
And someone I just want to throw out there because this guy he's all over the place with acting, but directs insanely well. Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner, nice. Very
So,
good. Yeah.
Taylor, what do you got?
What I have left that hasn't been mentioned would be Sean Bean.
Definitely.
And then he's a bit newer recently, but he's done more stuff throughout time. As Nikolai Coster-Waldau.
He's Jaime Lannister from
Oh.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, he is in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's not noticed all that often. Like, I was just watching the movie Firewall a couple weeks ago, and he was just in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
What, that Paul Bettany
Harrison
Ford movie?
Yeah.
All right.
Did anybody even mention Paul Bettany?
No, I had him on my
Honorable mention
40
Paul
list.
Bettany. So the back 5 that weren't on my list. I mentioned Tim Roth just a second ago, hitting his twilight years, so not a lot of time left for him. Then we have Wig, Ronan Cerise, who I think I didn't put on higher just because she did get Oscar nominated for Brooklyn.
Yep.
Then I had Aaron Paul, who I don't think is ever going to escape TV, so he's going to be stuck there forever. And then Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, all right. I was wondering.
Wilson.
I'm surprised it wasn't on Taylor's list.
I wanted to. I thought Blake was going to have him higher.
I could have probably replaced Michael B. Jordan with Patrick Wilson just because Jordan's probably going to be a big actor soon.
Yeah, I agree.
It is what it is. Let's do 2 apiece. I think then we'll be left with our number 2 and 1. So now our top 10's underrated actors. Number 10, Paul Dano. Number 9, Rosario Dawson.
Number 8, Bill Hader. Number 7, Sam Rockwell.
Alrighty, we have number 5 here, John Barenthal, and then number 4, Mr. Razorface himself, Michael Shannon.
Wow.
Number 3,
Hitting
Andy
on my Michael
Serkis.
Shannon.
Number 2, John Good. Oh, shoot. Number 2, John Goodman, right?
Did we miss one? 10,
Yeah, Michael Pena got missed.
6, 5. Michael Pena at 6, right?
Michael Pena at 6.
Yeah.
2,
That
John
was
Goodman,
you.
and then we can do all.
No.
All right, number 1. Not on our top 10
8,
shows.
7.
Number 1 underrated actor is
Ben Foster!
Ben Foster. So, because we messed that up, it's 10 Paul Dano, 9 Rosario Dawson, 8 Bill Hader, 7 Sam Rockwell, 6 Michael Pena, 5 John Bernthal, 4 Michael Shannon, 3 Andy Serkis, 2 John Goodman, and number 1 Ben Foster. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. Like, subscribe, comment, subscribe, please. We are the best kept secret on the internet right now. If you don't believe us, check out Serena Williams' victory speech at Wimbledon, where she says the real frame of mind in her head, actually out loud. So you gotta check it out.
A direct reference, I'm 100% sure.
It was out of order, but she said her frame of mind was real. So check it out. Check us out. And we just eclipsed 40 subscribers, and we're
It's a
on our way.
milestone.
We're on our way. So you guys rock. And
Getting close to that
remember,
million.
Yeah.
remember, respect the research, please.